All right, it says we're live.
We sure are.
Johnny Midnight.
Hey, what's going on, Amanda?
Oh my gosh. Celebratory time.
Oh, one of our friends just made it big, didn't she?
Well, so the BBC wrote an article about Dr. Fiona Gherkin's work.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's in case anybody doesn't know, she has been a guest on this show and has been in touch with Good Mother. And yeah, the BBC is posting an article about that. I mean, that's like big six media here.
Right. And major blue pill media, right?
Oh yeah, total blue pill. They're the ones that are just like feminism is good, white men
Yeah.
are evil, all men are evil for that matter. But yeah,
Right.
hmm
Right. Now, for anybody who's not familiar with Dr. Fiona Gherkin's work, her primary focus is toxic female behavior, pretty much. And
plenty of that.
her body of research study was actually, you know what?
Yeah,
Fiona's here. I'm gonna let her discuss what she's all about.
surprise guest!
Fiona.
Yay, Dr.
Hey,
Durkin, how are you doing?
I'm good, Johnny. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
I was just trying to sum up what you do and what your goal is in as few words as possible, but I probably wouldn't be able to do it justice. What is your work about, Fiona?
Yeah, sure. So, I focus on toxic female behavior in its simplest terms, I guess. So my background is in psychology. I have an undergrad degree in psychology, but I'm not a psychologist. And I focus mainly on research, probably for the last 6 years, on the female psychopath. And I completed my PhD just over 12 months ago, specifically on female psychopaths in the workplace. But I've certainly been dabbling in the true crime space a little bit as well. But my main job is I work for myself, and I do consulting work around people who are dealing with toxic women in their lives, whether it's at work or at home. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell, I guess.
Well,
Yes,
that's fantastic. Congratulations on the PhD.
Thank you.
and congratulations on the BBC article.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot of
That's
oversight.
that's what we gathered here to discuss today because I think it's amazing. And then when you told me that there were some people that also contributed, and what they said was a little, I don't know, how would you
Critical.
describe it? Critical?
Yeah, so let me give you some background as to how that article came about. So I got contacted at the end of last year, must have been about November, from this gentleman from the BBC. He contacted myself and my primary supervisor from my PhD and said, "Look, we want to talk about your research." And I thought, oh well, I was kind of like, well, the BBC, wow, that's pretty exciting. That a big company would like to, big journalist company would like to talk to me about my research. So I thought I'll do the interview. He said that he'd been asked to do the article. His editor had been asked him to do the article, and it was all around the paper I published as part of a conference I talked at the year prior, so in 2024. I wasn't under the impression that he was then going to go and interview other people to critique my work. So I was a little bit miffed because it was supposed to be out in December. So I finally got this email last week and I'm like, oh, okay, it's finally come out. But I'm wondering whether he's gone back to the editor and the editor said, well, we need to critique this. And then to have these other academic people come out and then critique my work. And I wasn't aware of that. Like that kind of annoyed me a little bit. But I guess, this is what you get when you talk to journalists. And I've certainly had my fair share of backlash for talking to certain journalists, especially in Australia. So I think that's what not upset me, but annoyed me the most. Some of the comments around, because I'd made a comment about struggling to get my research up because I was focusing on female psychopaths. And I noticed someone in the article said, oh, well, I've never had any trouble. almost as though I felt that was a bit of a dig at me. Well, maybe it's not the topic, maybe it's you, but I think that person assumed I was looking at psychopaths in general. But when you're looking at specifically women, people do not want to touch it.
No, they don't.
They also didn't highlight the fact that it was a mixed method study. They talked about just that paper where I talked about the interviews I did. So that was only the qualitative side of my my PhD. I also did a quantitative side, and I did a national survey as well. So they've really just looked at one part of my research. And yeah, I mean, I know maybe I'm just a bit sensitive. Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, curious
okay to be it's okay to be sensitive about that, especially when you go take a look at a major media company like the BBC. For instance, I follow the MGTOW lifestyle, and Reggie Yates wanted to interview some of these MGTOW content producers years and years ago for the BBC. And some of them were asking, "Is this going to be a hit piece on MGTOW?" And Reggie said, "Oh yeah, we're definitely going to spin it. You guys is the bad guy." At least, I mean, he was nice enough to say that. You're criticizing women by dint of the nature of your study. Okay, not that you're actively looking to do that, but it is a topic that does need to be addressed. You're doing that. And the BBC doesn't like that because it is against the narrative of women being wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I should have picked up on that. So in Australia, we have what's called the ABC, which is the national government funded kind of journalism company, and they are the worst. And they were the ones that got me taken off my academic job. Based on the hit piece they did on me. I lost my job over what they did to me. And I'm not the only one they've done that to in Australia. I've been contacted by a number of people who said, yep, ABC did a hit piece on me and I lost my job. So,
oh my God.
Really?
Yeah, so it was ABC. I still blame the ABC for being cancelled. I still think they're the ones that jumped on board with the feminist narrative, and the angry feminist published this broadly, and that's what led to the university going, well, you know, you're the poison chalice, we can't have you here, you know, kind of thing. So
my God.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So fun times.
But, so much for universities being being an institution for free thought and you know, experimental research. Honestly, I don't even think this is experimental. It's something that, like I said, that doesn't need to be addressed.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think there was a time where I like to think there was a time where that was the case with universities, but I think they have definitely lost their way. And, you know, I saw how quickly I went from being a loved academic and lecturer to being the most hated person on campus kind of thing. And that didn't take much. It just took a couple of angry feminists to make a complaint. And after I'd spoken to a controversial journalist who is doing amazing work in the space of violence against men, and they didn't like it. It was so against the narrative, and I thought I had academic freedom to talk about my work and talk about what I was. So I was teaching domestic violence to police at the time. So hence why they were so angry. They were like, we can't have someone who's not a feminist teaching that. We need them to know that women are victims and men are perpetrators. So I think that really led to them rolling over. But I didn't realize how quickly a university could backtrack based on feminist complaints. Like that shocked me the most. I didn't realize the level of power that they actually had. I've since learnt my lesson and hence work for myself now, so I can say what I like.
Right? Yeah. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Oh,
I'm trying to bring that energy into my culture. It's working out great, by the way, Fiona. We must chat later about
okay, sounds good.
Fun stuff that's happened this week.
Was that article BBC Australia, or is it like straight out of England?
I think it was out of England. I don't know. He wasn't from Australia. He was under Science Focus, and he was from the UK. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the
Science
BBC. Yep.
Focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
and look, I've no criticism of him because, I felt like he did represent my research at the beginning. Like I said, he did miss the point that it was a mixed method study, and then he did sum up at the end in a sort of a more positive light. It was just that the words that were used by the other academics that I was not happy with.
Yeah, these other feminist cult members.
Yeah.
I want to bring to attention, because what's funny, I've showed this picture around just to get people's initial response. Like I was doing one of my friends' hair today, and she's an 80-year-old great grandmother, very very sweet lady. I was like, can you believe this crazy bitch right here is criticizing my friend Fiona? And she just looked at her and she was like, yeah, she looks like she would.
She looks like she belongs at a university, doesn't she?
Well,
does, yes.
And that's the thing, Fiona. Like, what exactly? I tried to find as much as I could on her to see what kind of actual work she's done with like people. And I really wanted to know, like, I couldn't find anything about if she had any children or not. I think she's one of these childless cat ladies.
Possibly.
If you ever, when you talk to her in the future, ask her if she has any kids.
Mandy, she's German. That would be a Katzenfrauen.
Well, because her main area of focus is she works with children or wants to work with children.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So
if she doesn't have any children, like, I don't know what's happening here. If she doesn't have any children, what business does she have messing with other people's children? That's what I want to know.
Look, plenty of people do work with kids who don't have kids, but I'm of the same view that, I've worked in the community sector for, I think, over 25 years now. And, I've seen a lot of people doing work with kids and with like things like family mediation, which I did for a while. And they just don't, there's stuff you can't learn in a textbook. And I think that's one of the big problems with social sciences. You can't learn the idiosyncrasies of being a parent and tell other people how to be parents if you don't understand kids, and you can't unless you've dealt with them 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to work with a population of adolescents as a alcohol and drug therapist, and it was somewhat challenging and difficult for me at the time because I don't have any kids, and I didn't have any then either, and trying to understand like childhood or adolescent dynamics with each other is something that I wasn't really attuned to, and I was just kind of like, boy, I wish I had kids just so I could employ some of like my parenting onto these people. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it was funny because when I did family mediation, I was in my early 20s and I had 4 kids, and people would look at me and some of them would actually say to me sometimes, what would you know? You probably don't even have kids. And I would actually breach, it's against therapist regulation to tell them about your personal life. But I would actually say to them, look, I've actually got 4 kids. I'm actually a mother. So I do get it. And I had to do that because I was so young and I looked younger than I was as well. So I had to disclose that so that people would respect what I had to say, because they thought I was just some young kid fresh out of university who wouldn't know a thing about parenting. But
I was confronted with that too. By the parents in family sessions. Yeah, I hated that. I hated that so much.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great thing, Fiona. I think it's a great thing that the BBC wrote about you. And you know what? I imagine in the future some collaborations, because it sounds like both of those women had enough guts and courage to speak about your work Maybe we can talk him into getting funding for research that will actually help men.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see anything in any of their stuff that was like, oh, for men, anything analyzing women specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was generic.
Yeah. And I think that's the difficult thing about not being part of a university, Mandy, is that you often, most of the research, the funding for research is through universities. And although I do have an adjunct position with another Australian university, I don't talk about that or mention that university because I'm so scared that the feminists are still watching me.
Oh, they are. They are.
Yeah,
they are.
I bet they are. And I bet the ones in Tassie are too. And they would only take one phone call for them to contact that university. And I'd lose my adjunct position, which allows me to access things like papers and the privileges that come with being part of a university. So it's yeah. So
it really is like a cult.
It is. There's fear involved. I'm not as fearful as I used to be, but initially when they got me taken off my job with the university, I didn't leave the house for 2 weeks. I have a German Shepherd and I had him by my side constantly because I was actually genuinely terrified. I've lived in the same house for 24 years now, so it's not like, and I mean, Tasmania is a small place. It wouldn't take much for someone to find me. And I've had emails from people saying, look, the feminists came after me and I had death threats and I had to move. And so I became quite fearful because although I hadn't gone after these people directly, they were offended and deeply offended by conversations I was having about the fact that women can be perpetrators of violence and that men can be victims. And by challenging that narrative, it affects their things like their funding and their jobs. These CEOs of these feminist organizations get paid a lot of money. Trust me, I used to be one. It's
they
not
get buckets thrown at them. Yeah.
And they only need to say, oh, look, we're struggling. We're getting all these extra clients. Well, there could be lots of reasons for that. And it may be that people are just seeking more support, and suddenly more money's thrown at them and people don't ask a lot of questions. Because I also used to be the funding manager in Tasmania for these services. So again, I saw the data, I saw the money. I was part of the government dishing this stuff out. And whenever you would ask questions and try and challenge some of the money they were getting, and this is across disability and community services, you would basically be shut down because the politicians were like, well, this looks bad for us if we challenge this. It's a real scam.
It is.
Yeah,
very much like in America, we have the Black Lives Matter, and one of the leaders of that organization took a lot of the money, bought 3 mansions with it, instead of giving it to, say, scholarships to Black people. Think of how many people could have gone to school with those mansions she bought. So
and I had heard that there was, I've seen stuff around Black Lives Matter, but even the disability services, I know in America you've got huge issues with fraud, but same in Australia. We opened up our disability support nationally through an insurance scheme, and we have so much fraud going on. These support workers supposed to be supporting people with disability driving around in Ferraris. There's something seriously wrong there. And most of them are from minorities. They are migrants or they're from a minority group, and nobody wants to touch it. Nobody wants to take them to task because they're part of a minority and it can be seen as racist or sexist or
they have to be politically correct by letting them get away with lying and cheating and stealing.
So in America, I don't know whether you've heard of I don't know his first name. His last name's Shirley. He's an influence. What's it? Nick Shirley. Yes, thank you. And they're bringing in a law. I noticed the other day in America, the Nick Shirley law, where people, because he'd been approaching some of those scammers in America around disability support, and they want to bring in a law that he can't publicize that he can't talk about that stuff, or he'll be in prison. So
God.
so instead of imprisoning the people committing the fraud,
they
are now stopping him. And there'd be feminism behind that, because they want to, the feminists want to save everybody. We want to save everybody, but they've had a hard time. And so in Melbourne here, we have issues in Melbourne with huge migrant population and them running down the street with machetes and dropping off people's hands, and they get imprisoned, and they're only in there for less than 24 hours and they get bailed. If you are being that violent and then you get let out and you do it again, but the trouble is this Melbourne in particular is run by the woke culture and the feminist culture, where we go, but they've come from a country where it's, they've had a rough time, they can't help it. Well, I don't think that's okay. Like, you're committing crimes. You should be put on a plane and sent home. Like, it's amazing what we're willing to cover up under the guise of caring, and that comes from the feminist perspective.
Yeah, that displaced mommy energy.
Nick Shirley is an American.
I think so.
Okay, because I was going to say,
American, Mandy?
I thought so.
Trying to silence this guy like that seems highly unconstitutional.
He's done some and he's done some amazing work in America in terms of exposing. Like, he goes, I think it was a lot to do with, it was to do with the child cares. He'd go to the child cares.
Minnesota.
Yeah, and there'd be no one there, no kids there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said Nicholas Shirley is an American right-wing YouTuber and influencer. His video allegedly fraud on Somali-run child care centers in Minnesota went viral.
Okay, I know who this guy is.
And then it says the video's allegations were unsubstantiated. Fake news.
If you turn up to a childcare on a day where children should be there and there's not a single child in sight, and they're getting funding for those children.
And it was multiple.
Yeah, it wasn't once, it was multiple. And he'd been multiple days. He'd been to multiple. There were whole buildings full of fake organizations.
Yeah.
With no people.
So wait, what exactly does unsubstantiated mean?
It means there's no evidence.
Oh, really? Because you can't see with your eyes a video.
And I think what they mean is, who knows? And I think part of that is because you have to go through the courts and the legal process. But I think, this has been going on in your country for a long time, and no one's willing to touch it. And I'm finding the same thing here with our disability sector, is that these fraudulent claims are often from minority groups and female groups, and they're not willing to touch it.
Something happened to one of my friends recently where he was falsely accused of threatening to perpetrate violence with a coworker who was female and of some sort of mixed race, and he was also, unlawfully terminated from his job, and he wanted to go ahead and try to seek some sort of legal recourse. Nobody will touch the case. One of them bald-faced lied and said, well, Missouri is an at-work state, so they can fire you for any reason. That is not true. They rescinded the at-work status in 2018. Yeah, that legal firm lied to him. And that they don't want to touch that case because we have a white male going up against the word of a BIPOC female.
Yeah. And I've had white men contact me specifically around some of those things. I've had clients who are white men saying, I was outrightly told I did not get the job because I'm a white male.
Oh,
they
really?
were actually told that. There was they didn't even try to hide it. Like, organizations are actually saying that out loud. And yeah, it's really sad because it makes it's like the one group that gets discriminated against, and it's really, really tough because, can you imagine outrightly saying to a woman, you didn't get the job because you're a woman? It'd be all over the front page of the paper.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There'd be a lawsuit involved, and they'd make a lot of money.
I'd be one of their best customers in that case.
Yeah. Oh,
it's not
It's
okay.
a worry.
You know what's crazy about what's her name? The childless cat lady.
Oh, Hedwig Eisenbach.
Hedwig Eisenbach. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's got some issues, I think. Johnny,
Yeah. What issues, Mandy?
I heard that she is a pedophile apologist. Is this true?
Yeah, bring up the article. It's a Kiwi article. One of your neighbors, Dr. Gherkin. Yeah, she's close by. Better hide.
Yeah.
Right?
She might get a canoe and come over and go at me.
It's only a 2-hour canoe ride. So
Where's the article? Can you send it to me?
I sent it to your Discord,
Let me
Mandy.
see. Let me see. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, so this is one of the big feminist issues that I've seen this narrative happening where we're excusing abusive behavior.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you heard, Johnny, have you heard the term minor attracted persons?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that the term is in this very article that
Of course it is.
Amanda's about ready to pull up.
Yeah. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Victoria
Yeah.
University pedophile study. See,
There we go.
Hold on. Copy.
You can do a study on pedophiles without excusing their behavior, because what happens is you normalize the behavior, it becomes okay. It desensitizes it and it puts it in the mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's so dangerous.
I mean, if you really want to go back, Dr. Gherkin, you probably know that the DSM had taken out any kind of like homosexuality from the from the mental disorders in 1973. You know, during the time of normalization for that. Now what's going on is many psychologists are pushing toward normalization of minor attracted persons, as we put it, and to the point where it might one day become acceptable or even celebrated. They'll get their own flag if they don't already.
Yeah. So here's a question: is this the normalizing of this behavior? Is it the result of the fact that we're seeing high numbers in America and in Australia of female pedophiles? Is that
good question?
Is that changing the narrative because we're going, well, we need to normalize this because we're now seeing lots of women displaying this behavior, and we don't want to criticize women?
I had to think about that because we are getting here in the U.S. We are getting almost weekly a new report of usually a young teacher, a new teacher within her 20s that is having sex with an underage student body. Okay, sometimes they're female, sometimes they're males, and that is a very good question to ask because we are seeing such a surge of this. Is it now time to give the women a pass who are minor attracted, obviously, as to lose their stigma, as this article's headline pleads? Well, the Wellington people are kind of outraged by the study.
And this is what gets me, isn't it? You can get funding for that, but you can't get funding for female psychopaths in the workplace when it's a massive issue.
Right.
Like that, it makes no sense, does it? It's like, seriously, it makes no sense.
I hate her haircut.
Yeah, it says it all, doesn't it?
It sure does. Female psychopathy and why we need more of it. Now that would probably get funding.
Right?
The importance of the girl boss.
Right. There's nothing like being
women need to run the world,
I wonder if it's possible to get funding with that title, but then have your entire study be the opposite.
Yeah.
like a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Yeah. That's.
I mean, do you think they actually read it like thoroughly?
I suspect they do, but you've just got to tick all the boxes. And yes, you could change the narrative, and I have seen people do that in studies. Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time taking this woman's words fucking seriously.
Well, the thing is, it is a litmus test to see how the general populace is going to respond to something like reducing the stigma toward pedophiles, right? Um, the general population that got wind of this study in New Zealand was not happy with the idea. They're parents themselves, and they don't want uh, their children to pick up an adult playmate at the park. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, thankfully that shows that society hasn't is not ready for it, and it's not normalized.
Yeah. It's my husband was reading me an article that was shared on X this morning. Someone actually did a study on Pornhub and got access to all the data from Pornhub, and it turns out that women are way more likely to search for videos that involve levels of abuse towards women, including the most worst things. I don't want to name them because I don't want to ruin your channel.
Oh, you can't ruin my channel, Fiona.
Okay. So it looked at things like, rape and assault and all those things. And women are way more likely to search for those videos of women being assaulted than men on Pornhub. Yeah, I haven't looked at the article because it was in bed this morning. I was having my coffee and he's like, oh my God. So I must have a look at that. But yeah, it's, we hear that narrative about women going after the bad boys, and you see it, the nice guys finish last kind of thing, which always, we talk about women being victims of abuse, but women are often more attracted to those that are men that are a bit not just violent, but more edgy, that puts them in a position where they are dominated by men.
Oh, like the motorcycle gang that's running through my town right now. That's why I have to keep muting the mic.
Oh, gee.
I keep going past.
They probably got their girlfriends on the back.
Yeah, they do. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. I wonder, because I always think daddy issues when I think of women who are like that. Want the violence, want the choking, want the things like I don't know.
I always think they need Jesus, to be honest.
Yeah.
You need Jesus. Come on.
Yeah.
So I thought that I must have a closer look at that study because I thought that was very interesting. That was something that they found. And I wonder whether, though, is it that more women use those sites or that particular site, and that's why. So I'd have to have a better look at the study, but yeah, I thought that was interesting data.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see what's going on. I'm just, it's funny that the name of that article is The Noticer. And speaking of noticing, when I'm just like putting together patterns here.
This one?
We have a woman. Yeah, we're having a woman that is trying to do a stigma reduction for pedophilia, who also works with children, adolescent and child population.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
That.
Yeah.
When you put two and two together, we right wingers are always, castigated for pattern recognition, and that is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, the notice. I didn't even look at that. Yeah. No wonder news sites aren't picking it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
Fiona.
Shit.
I think I think you got your work cut out for you sorting out the psychology realm.
Oh, boy, do you.
Yeah, and look, it's an interesting position for me to be in because I have looked at, like I said, my undergrad's in psychology, and I've looked at becoming a registered psychologist because, there's other benefits that come with that. But I wouldn't keep my registration for 5 minutes. There'd be no point. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd be Jordan Peterson getting re-indoctrination,
Re-educated, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Jordan Peterson did respond to that article.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. It was really simple. It was like Jordan Peterson Academy has the answer for this. That was really lovely. What a guy! What a guy! You know what? Speaking of that, maybe we can help you, Dr. Gherkin, because we do have a little coven you might be able to join that would be very, very helpful in achieving what you would like to do in a safer fashion. And that would be called the Radical Center. As a matter of fact,
Leslie.
Leslie Boyce went through a lot of the same problems you did, all right, in the United States. And she has an online outreach called the Radical Center for psychologists and aspirational psychologists who are questioning the dominant narrative of this time, that being the feminist narrative. Okay. If we could post real quick, Mandy, the kind of call to action that she had just recently put up. I'm talking about yesterday or the day before. This would be a great resource for you, Doctor.
Excellent.
Yeah, because it's a good group, and her and her husband kind of run it. So, the Radical Center. Yeah,
we'll up in a moment.
Yeah,
right.
And if anybody in the audience, in the chat, might need this, this is a good resource to look at. And
the
there
Radical
it is.
Center. Oh, yep. Okay. Yeah, I think Mandy, you shared this with me.
Hi, my name is Leslie, and a little over 3.
Sorry.
I think you'd shared it with me before, but I haven't watched it. So yeah, awesome.
Oh, let's watch it because I think it speaks to you.
Years ago, I was ejected from a clinical mental health master's in counseling program because I expressed concerns about the ideological bias and pressure within that program. I was largely finished with my coursework at the point when I left the program, when I was removed, and I was not ejected for expressing a viewpoint that was deemed objectionable, just for expressing concern about bias, which in and of itself was considered objectionable. I have had the opportunity over the last 3+ years to speak with many counselors, social workers, counseling students, current and former, and counselor educators about the field and their own experiences in the field. And at this point, I am really interested in hearing from people who, like me, left a counseling program before completing it, whether you left voluntarily or were forced out because of a similar situation to my own. I'm also interested in hearing from people who did complete a program but found it difficult to do so. I know that the decision to go to graduate school is a very important one, and it's a huge investment of time and money and getting yourself in the right circumstances to do that. And the decision to leave a graduate program is also a huge one that can have major impacts on a person's life. So if this is something that you've experienced and you would like to share your experience with me, you can contact me through my website. It's theradicalcenterconsulting.com. I'll put a link down in the description. There's a contact form on the About Me page. And if you would like to speak with me about this on the record, I'd be happy to interview people about their experiences. But really, I'm also fine with just anonymous responses. I just like to gather some more testimonies and experiences of people who have been through what I'm describing here.
Sounds similar, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's the number one guy right there. I really think it'd be great if you could contact them, because she has a regular panel of people that they try to hash out a lot of these issues that are populating the psychology field right now and the sociology fields. And it's very interesting. A lot of it is a jab at not a jab, but I mean a criticism a criticism of the over feminization of the psychology field.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they know what the cult's doing to our society.
Yeah. I mean,
they
this
know.
is tailor-made spot for you.
No,
yeah,
cool.
I will definitely have to reach out to her. I think, that thank you for sharing that. And sorry, Mandy. Mandy does send me a lot of stuff, Johnny, so I don't get through all of it sometimes.
Yeah, no. I will. Well, because Johnny sent it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, let's send this to Fiona. Let me pass this on."
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, it would be good.
Yeah,
be really good.
yeah.
Join the rebellion.
Join the rebellion. Yeah.
Well, I mean, really, that's what it is. The rebellion against the what the feminist cult's been doing.
Yeah.
Any woman that speaks out against what they're doing has joined the rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'll have to do that. Yeah.
Well, Fiona, I am so excited for you. And fuck that crazy bitch. Hegwig.
And
Iron Beard.
And look, do you know what? I just need to remember that the only reason I've become internationally known is because of the bad press.
Yeah.
And it started with the ABC in Australia. And because of that, it has led to me being known internationally. And I've been on podcasts all over the world over the last 6 months. Just did one in UK last night about a true crime case, which was fabulous.
Really?
And I did manage. Yeah, so I did manage the Sarah Boone case. It's Ketchup Court from the UK. And she was the woman that in Florida who put her boyfriend in a suitcase and left him to suffocate.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that incident.
Yeah, very fascinating case. So I talked about that, but it was funny. I got onto the topic of feminists in the end. So that was an interesting conversation, because one of the things he raised was that why weren't the feminists behind her, given she was claiming to be a victim? Why didn't they support her like they did, like Amber Heard? Which I wasn't aware of. So I thought that was really interesting. And I said, I think they pick and choose who to champion. And because she had taken a video of what she'd done, I think they were concerned about getting behind her as a victim. Even though she was both. So.
You know what? In many ways, the work that you're doing right now reminds me of what Erin Tizzy did back in the early 70s. And even back then, when she started a men's shelter, which was practically unheard of and still very rare to this day, that shelter was picketed, vandalized. They tried to set it on fire. She got death threats every day, and even I think she had an assassination attempt. There is something about men's health and men's well-being that enrages people within the last 60 years.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for Erin was that she started the shelter for women, but she'd actually grown up in a household where her mum was the most abusive. And she found that when women came to the shelter, 50% of them were just as abusive as the men they left. And when she talked about that, they ostracized her and kicked her out, and she wasn't allowed to attend. And that's when she got the death threats and stuff. So,
oh my God,
they championed her while she was helping women. But when she started saying, hang on, women can be abusive too. And that was when they came after her. And that's what happens with feminists, is they do turn on you very quickly. If you're their best friend and you say all the right things, they can help you rise, but as soon as you go against them, you are their biggest enemy, and they go as far as to threaten your life. I mean, that's pretty extreme.
Just like India, that's why Mandy calls it a cult, because it does work with cult dynamics. I mean, if you try to leave, well, here comes the dictionary.
I call it
1926.
I call it a cult because in my Webster's New International Dictionary, second edition, it literally says it's a cult in here.
Do you know what? I've got my dad's one like that's about 100 years. I'm going to go and have a look at that after we're finished here.
Go have a look, Fiona, because it says it's a cult in here. This is before the feminists invaded the universities and started changing definitions.
Yeah.
It was known that it was a cult.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, do you know what? I've got a similar. I wonder what version mine is. Should I go and grab it? Should I go and have a look?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back.
Let's play dictionary.
Let's play dictionary.
Yeah. It's a new board game. The feminist dictionary. That is that really is something else though. That the behavior dynamic of people who try to leave or say anything against it. It would be like say to Charles Manson, yeah, I don't think I want to live at the Spahn Ranch anymore. And the next thing you know, you like wind up buried in the desert. So.
You know what, Johnny? I've been at this for years on the internet, and I have not received a single death threat.
People are afraid of you.
What? They know I love a good challenge.
I guess so. Maybe it might be the fact that
they know I'm a double downer.
Yeah, I think that it's because you're from Texas and they're afraid you're going to shoot them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at that one.
Oh,
That's a big
man.
one.
Hold on.
Oh my!
I'm going to make you
It's
bigger.
even got his picture in it.
Hold on. I got to see this.
Webster. It says an expanded, revised edition of the original work.
Oh my!
Oh, what year is that
That's
from?
a gold mine.
1949.
Okay.
From the World Publishing Company, Cleveland and New York. So let's look for feminism.
1949.
Oh, it'll be in there.
I want to know what it says, though. That's a big one.
Yeah, it's my dad's. And oh, why can't I see you? Hang on. Oh, no, you've
sorry.
got me.
No, I made
right.
you bigger because
Okay.
I wanted to see your. Oops, shit. StreamYard is so different now. Hold on a second.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I wonder if it's worth moving my camera so you can see that. That's right. I might even just move and hold it up in front of the camera. So, feminism. Okay. Oh, yes. A theory, cult, or movement on the part of those who assert and advocate what they consider the rights of women and who favor doing away with all social, economic, and political restrictions on sex.
Yours is different than mine. Hold on, let me open mine.
Hers is a little bit more like has a little bit more punch. Than
yours does. Yours definitely is way punchy.
I will take a photo of that and send it to you, Mandy, in case.
Oh, yes. So mine
share
says, the theory, cult, or practice of those who advocate such legal and social changes as will establish political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. Propaganda or activity favoring the emancipation of women.
Yeah, propaganda. A lot of that.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Okay. I'm just going to send you that photo in case you want.
In days of old where men were based and they wrote the dictionary.
Right?
Oh
They knew feminism was a cult.
I'm so going to share that on X.
Do it. Yes, do it. Because you know what? I had a chat with Grok and ChatGPT, and I was like, why in the modern dictionary is feminism not labeled a cult? And it was like, oh, it never has been. And then I was like, actually, I have a physical copy of this year. And ChatGPT was like, oh, well, that's because pretty much people were stupid. And Grok's like, well, that's interesting. Would you share it? And Grok was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, this is a pretty big piece of historical evidence.
And then 1 week later,
ChatGPT tried to shame me for even asking the question.
Well,
one week later, Grok turned into Mecha Hitler. Damn you, Mandy.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I'm going to actually type it. So what is it? What did you ask it? Whether it was feminism was a cult?
Yeah, what I think I asked originally why feminism was no longer labeled a cult in the dictionary.
Okay, let's see if it picked up on what you said and has fixed it. Hang on.
Right.
Yes.
This is like dictionary bingo. I'm having fun.
Johnny, you don't have an old dictionary?
Yeah, where's your dictionary?
I think all mine are digitized.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I have a used bookstore in my town, and like I went there about once a month for a couple of years, like searching, because they would then search the computer and see if there was an old dictionary in any of the other stores. And that last time I went in there, he's like, "Hey, I got one for you, finally." Because
it's saying to me, sorry, it's saying to me there's high demand. I'll have to try again later.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah. I'm just going to turn my camera off and back on. It's made me blurry. That's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. No, it's funny. That's a little ironic. Is that Grok? Huh.
Yeah. Let me try again.
By the way, hello, Billy.
Hi,
hello,
Billy.
Mescaline Dreamer. Good to see you. Penguin's gonna warm up the wood chipper for the crazy bitch who criticized Fiona.
Thanks.
Gotta grease the gears, eh?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, it's strange, like how definitions have changed over time.
Yeah.
Hey, Rexus, I see you.
Yeah, hello, Rex. Let me see if Mike Rock remembers.
Yeah, it won't let me do it. Isn't that interesting? That's actually, I think that's really interesting.
Hey, do you remember that dictionary passage I shared with you?
No, I don't remember it. I don't keep any memory of past conversations or things we've shared. If you paste it again, I'll take a look.
About how feminism used to be considered a cult in the early 1900s.
Yeah, that sounds like the old dictionary definition people sometimes quote. Something like the theory, cult, or practice of those who advocate equality of the sexes. I've seen it cited from a 1944 Webster's or similar mid-20th century editions. The word cult there didn't mean a creepy brainwashing group the way we use it today. Back then, it just meant a system of beliefs or a devoted following. Kind of like the cult of domesticity that described the ideal Victorian housewife role. It wasn't calling feminism a dangerous sect. It was just an older, more neutral way of saying, this is what those people believe and push for. Early 1900s context, feminism and the suffrage movement were still pretty controversial. So yeah, critics did paint it as extreme or cult-like. But the actual dictionary entry was just a product of how language worked back then. Want me to dig up the exact old wording or the passage you shared?
No,
Paste it
because
again
I
and
thought
I'll check.
full of shite. Oh God, they really sanitized that answer, didn't they?
Yeah, I asked ChatGPT, and it says they haven't stopped using the term cult, but it's changed how it's the label that's changed how cult is used has changed to the term.
Okay.
So now, hold on. So now, are you saying that they're trying to destigmatize cults?
It says cult has a specific meaning and feminism doesn't meet it.
ChatGPT said that.
Yeah. Oh, you know, you don't trust ChatGPT. It's
Yeah.
left as left can be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Has
God,
feminism built into its source code.
There's a bunch of crazy cat ladies, you know, putting information into it.
Yes. That is good news, though. Grok's saying a lot of people are talking about it now.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. No, that's good news.
Yeah.
So much good news, Fiona.
Yeah. Thank you for that, though. I can't believe that. That's very fascinating.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
super fascinating. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, the times really have changed. I wonder what it'll be like in a dictionary or a compendium 50 years from now. Hopefully, it'll be an outmoded sensibility that has been vanquished, that nobody follows anymore. That would
Yeah,
be so great.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because they took cult out because I have a early 80s dictionary and it wasn't in there. They took that part out.
Okay.
And the emancipation of women, like what exactly is that? Is that a term that they use for government dependent? Like emancipate them from men and then have them leech onto the government?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Kind of what happened.
I'm going to look up what the term cult means in the dictionary now.
Yeah. Let's
while we're on it.
What? Yeah.
Because now I'm curious.
Get my 80s.
I feel like I need some thinking music. Johnny,
you got some of that Catholic
I've been
music?
watching Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, yeah. Cold.
Right.
I mean, because cult has kind of a negative connotation.
Oh, of course it does.
Right?
Yeah. You can't tell me that hasn't always
even,
had a negative.
Even back then, it had a negative connotation. When you'd read like the H.P. Lovecraft novels, and he was always focusing in the terrors of this cult or that cult. Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many words in here.
Right. Cult.
Okay, here. So mine says it's a worship or devotion. The system of outward forms and ceremonies used in worship and religious rites, which is saying that feminism is basically a religion. That's basically what that's saying.
Yeah, this one says a system of religious worship or ritual, devoted attachment to, or extravagant admiration for a person, principle, etc., especially when regarded as a fad group of followers. Or a fad, the object of such attachment, a group of followers.
Yeah, so over the page here, I've got two further descriptions that are much the same, about the deep regard for a person, devotion or admiration.
That's why I don't understand how super religious people can be also feminist.
Yeah, I struggle with that because I know the church that I was attending, which we stopped attending because it's too feminized, that there's so many. I mean, the lead pastor is a feminist, and when they get up of a Sunday, it was mainly women. It was rarely that a man got up, and this is a Christian church, and we were like, yeah, it's just. But yeah, I don't understand that either, and I noticed a lot of women in that church are feminists.
Yeah,
just certainly by the way they come across. Yes, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, Fiona, what are your plans for are you going to have this conversation with Ironbeard? What's her name, Johnny?
Hedwig.
Hedwig
Hedwig.
Eisenbach.
Yeah, Ironbeard.
Reminds me of Harry Potter. Yeah, look, I don't know, probably not. I avoid engaging with crazy. Sorry, I avoid engaging with feminists.
Yeah.
Same thing, really.
Yeah.
Synonymous, yeah.
So, I just don't anymore. Like, and I do get the occasional weird kind of message from these crazy feminists, and I just ignore them. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to talk to anyone I don't want to anymore.
No, you don't.
And when I work for myself, I'm like, I don't have to answer to anybody. So I'm at a point where I'm not willing to. I'm not a debate. I'm not like Rachel Wilson. I'm not interested in negotiating with people. I think these days people are so stuck in their ways that.
Good. No, you shouldn't. You should not negotiate with people. They're not going to bend anyway.
And you never negotiate with terrorists. And these are domestic
That's
emotional terrorists.
Yeah.
That's right, Mandy. No.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right, Fiona. Don't negotiate with the terrorists.
Well put, Mandy. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but that's what they are, fucking emotional terrorists. And I'm like, your reaction to it was the point.
Yeah.
That's how we can clock a crazy bitch terrorist.
Yeah. So just gonna leave it where it is and keep moving in a positive direction with people like yourselves who care about this topic, because that's what matters.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as bad press, isn't that what they say?
Oh no,
Right?
Of course not.
Right.
But I would check out that Radical Center, Fiona.
I will. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Leslie's lovely. You'll love her.
She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I think that would be an important people to connect with. So
definitely.
Yeah.
And contribute to the panels and stuff, because they have some really good guests.
Mm.
And then some not so good guests sometimes. Like sometimes I'll be listening to her panel. I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a cult member right there. But it's good to listen to them too, because it's like you know where they're at.
Yeah.
And you know how prevalent it is within that space.
Yeah. I think I'm still a bit traumatized, so I try and avoid listening to any feminist rants because it just makes me angry. Makes me really angry.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah. I'm just Yeah. I'm still when you feel like when you get attacked like that, it's like you want to, part of you wants justice, but the other part of you knows you're never going to get it. So I've learnt, I used to be someone that would go after justice, and now I'm at a point where I know that these kind of people are not worth fighting with, because you never win. You just can make things worse for yourself. So, but it is frustrating, definitely.
Well, the thing is my feeling is that, or at least my observations are, that feminism is a shame-based culture as opposed to a guilt-based culture. A guilt-based culture has penance and repentance and forgiveness, where shame-based, the only way that you can find any sort of salvation is through exile or death. And that's where I feel that's where I see a difference in talking to a group that might rationally have a guilt-based form of checks and balances and punishments. Okay. Say like the Catholic Church. Okay. 10 Hail Marys, 2 Our Fathers, and you're good. And don't do it again. Right.
Yeah.
But say something like certain sects of Buddhism, which is shame-based. It's like, it's not what you did, it's what you are. What you are is shameful. And the only way that you can correct that is to either get out of here or die. And that exactly is how feminism seems to operate. There is no apology. No apology will be accepted. They want one from you, but then they're going to double down once you give it to them.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty much hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
I'm going to use that, Johnny, with this cult.
Yeah.
Taking over at the moment.
It's exactly how they fucking operate.
Okay. Yeah. I'll keep that in mind when I'm engaging with these cult members.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, little brats.
You got your
They're
own
fucking brats,
heavy
is what they
brats.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're brats.
They're a cackle of hyenas.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I don't miss those workplace issues, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, the culture is getting better. The culture day by day is getting better, I think. Actually, I learned my mistress lied to me yesterday, which kind of hurt my heart a little bit because I was under the impression she was, had more integrity than that. But I'm like, okay, we're going to have a conversation. I think I need to remind her because she's from out of town. She doesn't know my community. Texas A&M is their code of conduct is Aggies do not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do.
Yeah.
And when she first came here, she was talking about integrity this, integrity that. We're not lying to the public anymore, and this and that. And then she fucking lied to me yesterday. I'm like,
You don't lie to Mandy.
right?
Do it.
It made me sad. It broke my heart a little bit that we have to have a discussion. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, that's it. That is disappointing.
Yeah, but maybe that's just how the cult members operate all the time.
Yeah. Feelings over facts, isn't that what they say?
Right.
That often they'll care more about protecting feelings, so they'll lie to protect someone and protect themselves even, rather than actually telling the truth.
Yeah.
So.
But facts are how we grow or get better. In an industry such as psychology, the goal is hopefully to have your population get better. And you're going to need to use facts. I mean, sure, introduce the feelings to find out what's wrong, but the facts are what makes you better in the end.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to be going. Thank you so much for having me on here tonight, as always. It was good to meet you, Dr. Gherkin. And,
you too, Johnny.
I hope I run into you again, okay? I really do.
I'm sure we will.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, Johnny. Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Catch you later.
Catch you later.
Thanks for that, Mandy. That was a good discussion. I'm so fascinated by the dictionary thing. Like,
yes, what words mean? What used to be known?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I can never remember the year it is. Is it 1983? That book. What's it called?
1984. Orwell.
Yeah, Orwell. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how they got rid of all the books and they're re-changing the narrative, and I think there's a lot of that happening now with AI. Is we're changing the narrative because it's all digital. It's easier to change. That's why physical books of things are so important, because that can't be altered. To have those physical copies of things, even things like the Bible, because that can be altered. That can be reworked and altered. But any key books are really important because.
This is the dictionary I grew up looking stuff up in. And
wow.
It's from the early, my Nana always had it. So, but even in the early 1980s, feminism, the principle that women should have political, economic, and social rights equal to those of men, the movement to win such rights for women. That was the definition in here.
Yeah. And I think that's what initially feminism was about, was those equal rights. But I think it wasn't that we didn't have equal rights. We had different rights. We had different things. We brought different things to the table. And instead of this focus on everything being equal, I need the same as you.
I need to do
think-
man's work. I need
Yeah.
to push myself in a political realm where it was men
Yeah.
before, because that's
Yeah.
man's work.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's yes, it's interesting where this will all end up in the end, to be honest, with such a feminized society these days. It will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Whether it'll change in our lifetime, it'll be interesting to see, because it's, you're seeing a lot of it really backfire on women at the moment, and backfire on us, I should say. Things like, men in dresses but still having penises walking into bathrooms, and
Mm.
I think that's not that. I'm sure there's a lot of trans people out there that never want to harm anybody, but if you think about someone who is psychopathic, who wants to harm someone, all they need to do is put a dress on now and walk into a woman's bathroom. It's as simple as that, because the feminists have allowed this equality and including everyone to occur. And it's the worst thing is it backfires for us as women, because then we don't feel safe. I don't feel as safe when I walk down the street as I did, 5 years ago. In fact, I avoid going out, and that's not because of the feminists, but that's because there's so much violence and crime at the moment, even where I live, that never used to be an issue, because a lot of that is people getting away with bad behaviour. I know they just arrested 5 female youths in my town last week for terrorising shops and stealing stuff and assaulting people, and but they're youths. So what will happen is here we have laws that say, well, we don't want to punish the youth, because they're only young and they don't know any better. So what happens
punish
is
the mother.
Yeah, well, they don't even do that. Give them a slap on the wrist and let them out again. The shopkeepers in Launceston have chat groups on Facebook where they go, okay, Brittany's in town today. She came in and took a item from my shop. So they communicate about when these young people are in town. But that whole narrative, and I know the same is in a lot of states in Australia, but that narrative where we don't want to punish young people, but yet we also give young people rights to make choices at a much younger age, except when it comes to crime. And I think,
isn't that weird?
It is weird. It's super weird. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that, it's just again, it's that feminization that's causing a lot of these issues, because they're looking at feelings over facts, and not creating a level of accountability for women or young people, and it's creating an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
So
we should punish those mothers for their children.
I'd have to agree with that. I think that the parenting, I think we've lost the idea that parenting plays a massive role, and that parents in many cases are not doing their job. And I think we've handed a lot of that over to the public. We've handed it over to childcare centres.
Yep.
We've handed it over to schools, and parents are so busy working, because feminists have created an environment where both parents have to work, otherwise they can't survive.
Yeah.
And so parents are absent. Parents are tired. And I think that's the fault of the broader society and feminism. We focused so much on women having jobs and being girl bosses that we lost sight of the fact of the importance of children, and the importance of raising children, and the gift of birthing children.
Yeah.
There's so much fight to be equal to men. We have one of the most amazing opportunities that men do not have, and that is to give birth to a child.
Yeah.
And to be a mum. And although fathers are important, that notion of being able to grow a life inside you, puts us above men, and always has. But it's been overlooked, because we were fighting to be in the workplace, to be oppressed by a boss instead of a man.
Right? Yeah. And now a lot of us have to work under women who suck. Yeah. Oh, you know what's crazy? I heard my mistress on the phone the other day, and she was calling one of her subordinates that's above me, right? And she's like, "Where are you, woman?" And I was just thinking, if a man said that exact thing to her, I don't think she would respond very kindly.
No, I'm sure she
Where are
wouldn't.
you, woman? Like, in kind of a masculine way. I was like,
Mm.
man, is my mistress a fucking dyke? Damn it.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
There was I don't know whether it was in Australia. It might have been Australia where this girl was walking across the road. She was on her phone. She was looking down. She had headphones on, and she was about to walk in front of a car. And he grabbed her and
Yeah.
pulled her off the road.
Yeah.
And he was charged with sexual assault.
For saving her life and
Saving her life.
For protecting a woman from her own
Protecting
bad
her.
decision.
Yes. And I've seen the video of it because someone had a dash cam footage of it, you know. He was saving her life. And this is how we treat men. And it's going to get to the point, and it is already, you know, where bad things are happening to women in public, and men are just turning a blind eye, because why would you protect a woman if it can lead to you being arrested?
Yeah.
What would be the point of that? Why would you, you know? So it's, yeah, I think it's really sad that there are so many men out there that aren't now willing to engage with women in any way. They don't want to be in a relationship. They don't want to get married. They don't want to settle down.
Yeah.
But I can understand why, and it breaks my heart, because there are still good women out there. Well, you and I, but I think I can understand why some men have gone down that path, and it's very, very sad that that's the path we've headed down as a society.
Yeah.
Really, really sad. But
yeah. Well, I've been seeing a lot of positive things. More women speaking out. I know I send them every time one comes across. I'm like, Fiona, look. And I'll send her to you, because I think it's happening more and more. I think a lot of these women are understanding what the cult is, and they're not listening to these radical lesbians anymore. I think a lot of these women see them as their future self and don't want any part of that.
Yeah, and there's been a real movement of young women now saying, I just want to stay at home and raise my children.
Yeah.
I just want to be a traditional wife. And in many cases, they're mad. They're mad because that's been taken from them. They don't actually have that option.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that these many feminists neglect to understand, is that that's fine for you to make a choice to want to go and work and be a big CEO and not have children or whatever you want to do. But you're not giving choice. You've taken away the choice of women who don't want that. Not every woman wants that. Some women do want to stay home and raise their children, and you've taken that away by creating a world where it's no longer feasible for most women. And I think that's the sad thing about it, is that they claim to be in the best interest of women, but you know, it's sad because it's the choice has been taken away. So, you know, go and do that. If you want to do that, great, but don't take away the choice from others. I think that's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see it in my own daughters who have got kids and can't stay at home with them because they have to work. So,
yeah.
Well, I probably should finish up. I've got to go.
Yes.
But,
it was good chatting with you, Fiona.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Ben.
And congratulations for pissing off the cult. I'd see that as a win, that you're on their radar.
It's my superpower, I've decided. Yeah, it's, you know, if you don't get that, if you don't start, you know, if you don't get noticed, because if you do everything right, you often don't get noticed. So I think a lot of the fact that I've chosen to focus just on women, and I think that's what's perpetuating people knowing who I am and people coming to me and going, thank you, someone willing to actually discuss this issue and wanting to specialize in an issue that most people would look at more broadly and want to look at men and women. So I've, cornered a much needed market, clearly.
I think you have very much needed, very much
Yeah.
needed, because what you discuss is happening in every country that has the internet.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of countries. So feminism has spread throughout the world, and it's global.
Yeah.
Whenever people are talking about the globalists, I'm like, yeah, the feminists. Like,
yeah. Feminists running the world.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
Fiona. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Good to see you.